And what is going on, man? Our nation, it's your boy Brandon Combs coming to you live on another Sunday here. As Johnny Torres messages me and says, "You need to update those high school picture using in those in the overlay there. Those are not high school pics, sir. But it is really poorly put together. I will admit I did not do a good job putting this one together, but it was just a quick overlay just to throw something up because the one that I actually made for Bourbon Street was a little bit different than this. So without further ado, we're going to get into it, man. Look, it is Sunday. It is man hour Chicago. We'll bring my boy Ryan Fitzgibbons on here in just a second. We're going to talk about a whole lot of stuff. We're going to talk Blackhawks. We're going to talk Patrick Kane. We're going to talk the Chicago Bulls. We're going to talk the Chicago Bears. Free agency opening up tomorrow. I'm nervous. A lot of things happened this week in the NFL, so we got some stuff to get to. NFL Combine, that type of stuff. We're also going to have an interview with ACL Pro Tom Gustafson, which we're going to bring on here in just a minute. But without further ado, here is my guy, the man, the myth, the legend himself. He told me not to cash out my bet last night, but I did it anyway. What's going on, Fitzy?
We are not gamblers and we are not visual artists.
Yeah.
Two things we've already established so far in the first, 30 seconds of the show.
I'm still mad at myself.
We're bad at a lot of things. Come watch us be bad at stuff. Listen, subscribe. Watch us fall flat on our face.
That's all you got to do is just come on, enjoy the show. It costs you nothing. It's free to like, share, and subscribe.
It is.
You know.
I have a little surprise for you. We are on Twitter now.
I'm
the person who goes on Twitter while it's burning to the ground. That's the kind of person I am. When the bandwagon is careening off a cliff. So,
did you call Elon?
Yes, I did. Well, he's not even the CEO anymore. But anyway, at least I don't think he is. Someone's taking over for him. I don't know if that's now or later. But at Real Rye Fits, find us on Twitter. We're live there now. So
I like it.
Pretty exciting. Yeah, we're branching out. We have to with our 40 viewers.
Yeah. Hey, listen. When it comes to man hour, we're not a show that goes. We like the live because we've got a certain group of people that like to interact with us, and we like to do the lives, and we like interacting with those that like to interact with us. But the podcast form and all of that stuff is really our bread and butter. That's really where we gain a lot of our viewers. On Man Hour, we're actually at about 2 million listeners a month, so that's pretty damn good. We're not doing too bad there.
That's more than CNN gets.
Yeah, that's more than they should get too. But so, did you watch the fights last night?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So I put in a bet and I posted it on Facebook and
we have a frozen Combs. Combs has frozen. He put in a bet.
Am I back?
You froze for a second.
What the hell? What is going on?
You gotta wire yourself in over there.
I gotta tell my daughter to
at all either.
My daughter's gotta stop playing video games. That's what I'm gonna tell her. Anyway,
go on.
I don't know what's going on, but so I put in this bet, and in this bet, I had every pick. I had Grasso winning. I had John Jones. I had everything. But as John Jones is entering the ring, I decided to cash out the bet at $530, which I bet $50. I don't know why. I just got scared, man. And you know what? I hedged it too because I had another bet where I had Grasso and I had Gone winning. So I was like, you know what? I just got a bad feeling about Jones, and I cashed it out. So I cost myself $400. But I still won 500 and something on a $50 bet. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Shut up.
So crying about winning $500.
It's not just about winning $500. It was like and Michelle says it had to be the tape on the foot and the toe. It was the tape on the foot and the toes. I saw him cutting the tape. I'm like, wait, he injured his foot during training. I said, you know what? Gon is a beast. I said, so there's no way Jones is going to pull this off. It's his first fight. And all I could think of was first fight in 3 years, first fight as a heavyweight. He's going to find a way to finally lose it. And I thought, so I just, yeah. So what? I mean, whatever. I still won $500, so I'm not going to complain too much. Johnny Torres chimes in and says, "Shots on you today, Combs." Johnny, every time I bring you a shot, you yell at me. Every single time. So, all right. We have an interview right now with Tom Gustafson. Speaking of Johnny Torres, we're going to bring him on right now to introduce Tom.
All right.
Johnny, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good morning.
Good morning, man. Hey, look, you can't ask me to bring you shots, and then when I bring you a shot, you yell at me.
Oh, come on. It's all in fun. It's a show. I gotta pretend like I don't want the shot,
Yeah.
Come on, Combs. What are you doing, bro? Trying to run a tournament
Your
here.
wife wasn't even there.
No. I'm talking about the image I have to portray as an ACL
Everybody
local
knows
director.
you want the shot.
No, I still have to pretend like I don't want it. Come on.
All right.
If he examines that too far, he might figure out he's an alcoholic. That's what you're, Johnny.
So, Johnny,
No.
we've got something going on at Bourbon Street today with Southside Bags. What's going on over there?
Absolutely. NAWS, it's a Humane Society organization, not-for-profit, out of Mokina, I want to say. Mokina, Tinley Park area. They got together with Bourbon Street and Southside Bags to put this together. It's for a great cause. They're going to be taking all kinds of donations, some pet supplies, etc. And it's going to be a blind draw tournament, $20 a head. It's going to be good. I think we're going to have a really good turnout. There's going to be a bunch of bag raffles, split the pots. We're going to have some Southside swag available there. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's our first fundraiser. Hopefully it's a good one. I'm confident it will be a good one because Combs will not be there. So
I'll be there.
I mean, Fitz, I'm sorry. Because Fitz will not be there.
God.
But no. Looking forward to it. Hopefully you guys can make it out there. The 50,000 viewers.
Yeah, I mean, we've only got like 4 or 5 right now. I mean, the rest of them come in podcast form, so by the time they listen to this, it will actually
In the past.
the tournament will be in the past. But at least then they'll be able to be like, "Oh, Combs lost again."
No. We appreciate your donation, Combs.
I know you do. I know you do because every week I pay you money, good money, to either A, not get a partner, or B, get a partner and have to go up against the 2 pros that show up that week.
Don't think of it like that. Think of it like this. You're paying like a $20 club fee to hang out with us. On top of
pay people to hang out with you, Combs.
it's like
Come to.
it's like a members club, members only club.
Yeah.
You're paying your dues.
You even got a jacket, kind of.
And on top of that, you have a tab to worry about at the end of the night.
If I'm gonna pay people to hang out with me, I'm gonna start going to the strip club because there ain't no damn way I'm paying you to hang out with me.
Michelle, he doesn't mean it.
Michelle's coming with me. Leave me alone.
Oh,
maybe
no.
maybe that's why I have 2 ex-wives. I don't know. Either way. Why don't you go ahead and
Now that you went there, this is like you're on the stand in Law and Order. Now that you opened up that line of questioning, but now we can make fun of you about your 100 kids and 3 wives or whatever. How many wives you're collecting? But
hey, I will always be an open book, man. I don't really care.
I like about you.
That's how I roll. That's how I roll.
Nothing.
And I stopped at 98 kids. I don't have 100. 98. All right. So, Johnny, we've got Tom Gustafson on today. Let's get back on track here a little bit. We got Tom Gustafson, ACL Pro. They call him the reverse Mamba. And I'm going to let him tell everybody about the reverse mamba, because the first time I saw him throw, I'm telling you, I tried throwing the reverse spin and it went about 4 feet. So it was it was not pretty. I don't know how he does it, but we're going to talk to him about it in a bit. So why don't you tell the people a little bit about Tom?
Absolutely. Tom Gustafson, 3-year ACL Pro out of Lockport. He's an OG Southsider, originally from Oaklawn. He grew up in Oaklawn, Illinois. Yeah, absolutely. The Reverse Mamba, Titan sponsored ACL Pro. Give it up, guys. Tom Gustafson.
All right.
What's
Tom,
going on, Tom?
Hey guys, how's it going, guys?
Going good.
It's going, man. It's going. How you doing?
Have you?
Can't complain for a Sunday.
Absolutely. So, reverse mamba, Titan bags. I actually just got the set of Titan bags, the Venoms. Just got them yesterday. Put them in the wash. Do them in the dryer. Going to be taking them out to Southside Bags with me today. But the first time I saw you throw these bags, I was like, wait, there's something weird about it, right? Like, and I even came up to you and I said, what is going on with your bag? Like, what do you do? And you were showing me like your elbow stays tucked and the way you throw it, like it rotates differently. Tell people about the reverse mamba and how you became to throw a reverse bag.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, for everybody listening, like when you go and throw, a normal person, when a right-handed person, it rotates clockwise. As a righty, and I go to throw, it rotates counterclockwise. So I have the opposite spin from everybody else. It's just, when I first started this game 15, 16 years ago, I couldn't throw it the normal way for it. Shit pushed in left, right? So I had to try something different. And I just felt more better to try spinning it. You would throw a curveball or a slider from almost a 2 to 7. So
okay,
that's just kind of like what came to me as I was trying to kind of fix my throw.
Huh.
Yes.
Do you see anybody else on the tour throwing a reverse spin? Have you ever seen anybody else do it, or are you the only one? Do you have a patent on the throw?
I wish I had a patent on it, but nobody else on the tour throws that way. I've come across a couple people in the past year or two that have they throw it the same way as me. Now only one of them is halfway, is decent enough. Everybody else, I think, just does it to be comical.
Yeah, it's almost like a pitcher that starts pitching when he's a kid, and he has like a weird windup. Is there any advantage to throwing that way that you've seen against some throwers? Maybe people who slide it up there, or is that what you do? Is slide it up there? You don't really launch it in the air like I do and pray for it to hit in the hole. Is there any advantage for throwing that way that you've seen?
I think it catches a lot of people off guard, and so they don't know how to kind of strategically play against it because most people in the game are righties. You're used to knowing how the bag spins, how the bagger will kind of react off of each other, and it's the exact opposite when it comes to playing me. So it's like they're playing a lefty, but they don't think about that, and it's I don't understand why, but I think also when they see kind of the motion and the throw itself, they're just kind of like, what the hell is he doing? And I mean, listen, I've seen it like replays like on TV and stuff, and I sit there, I'm like, oh man, that's an ugly throw, but it works. So
So guys like me and Fitz, who are constantly working on our shots and just hoping that we can rake in some cash at the backyard barbecue or at the family reunion or wherever we're going to play. Like me, when I'm at Southside Bags on Thursday nights, when there's an empty board, I'll throw, and I try to work on my shot. I try to get better because I want to compete. I'm paying money every week. Every once in a while, I'd like to win some back. You know what I mean? So I'm working on my toss, but I keep changing it up. Like I'll find something different that works. Is that a problem, or should somebody like me just find one thing that's comfortable and on nights that it's not working, just keep going with it until it keeps working? Or are you a fan of, hey, if this is working, let's change it up a little bit?
hey, if you're not winning consistently, then change all you want, And I think it's once you hit a certain skill level and you feel comfortable and how good you can throw the bag, then you want to kind of hone in on that that form, and then just make minor tweaks. Like if you feel like you can't consistently throw 3 and 4 in the hole, then change it all you want until you find something that clicks and that works and feels comfortable. And then once you kind of hit that level, now you're just making small tweaks to your, maybe shifting your grip a little bit or your stance or your release point. But, until you kind of get to that level, I say just keep changing shit up and find, throw shit against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
You got nothing to lose, Combs.
Well, I do. I mean, I got like $40 a week to lose, but I mean,
I guess you're right.
So Tom, give me like I want to know a story. Like I want to know what it's like on the pro tour. So give me a story of something crazy that, like, what's the craziest match you've ever been involved in where it was just like you can't believe this guy's hitting shots, like you watched him warm up and he was terrible, or you watched him warm up and he was great, and then like give me a story in your head that you were just like, damn, I can't believe that just happened.
I think the first national last year, I win my first couple of games, and I go to play. His name's Mark Richards. He's ended up being the number one player on the tour last year. I think he won every accolade. He won basically every freaking tournament that was out there. But he's local to us. He's from Northwest Indiana, and so we play him. And he was a good player, but never like somebody you saw in a bracket and you're like, oh crap, I'm going to have a tough game, right? So we hit the first national, and I go, Mark wins his first couple of games. I'm like, he upset a couple of people that I was glad that I wasn't going to play, and I was like, oh great, I'm going to get Mark. I feel really good, and I think I scored 12 points, 14 points, and he just didn't miss, and it's shame on me for kind of walking into a match where I was like, hey, thank God I'm playing this guy, not who I could have been playing. It's once you hit this pro tour, it's like everybody can go nuts at any point, and you just can't take it. You got to stop looking at the name, and you just got to play the bags in front of you.
So I'm gonna lead into Fitzy's weekly question here just a little bit. I'm gonna let him ask his question after this one, but give me the behind the scenes story that you remember the most. Like, give me who's the drunk guy on the tour. Like, give me the story. Give me something about something you were like, damn, I can't believe this guy is throwing bags after what I just saw. That one there, right there, the one that you're looking down right now. You're like, I don't know if I can say this online. Give me that story right there. I need that story right there.
I promise you, no one.
No one's listening.
Like, 40, 50 years. All right.
Only 2 million people will hear this month.
Yes.
Hey, maybe this will go viral. So
we're on Twitter now.
One of the best players that, time playing the sport. His name's Matt Guy, and he will. You wake up, he'll be out drinking in the parking lot, 8 a.m., 6 a.m., whatever. A couple hours before the start of a tournament, he'll be 6 to 8 beers deep before this thing starts, and he's not like, he doesn't like stumble around. He's not slurring his speech. He's like out of control drunk. He's drunk I shouldn't say drunk, but buzzed, feels good, drinking all day long. I think it was the World Championships a couple of years ago. I think he started drinking Fireball at 8 a.m. and we were supposed to start at 9 or 10. And he did he
still throw well?
No, he ended up losing, and singles at least. I don't know how they didn't doubles the next day, but he was he left the building. Just leave it at that. Yeah,
that's great.
Two-part follow-up question. Is alcohol a performance enhancing drug in bags? And what is the amount of drinks where you are optimal, Tom? Or is there no drinks? We've had people on the show that, hey, I don't even drink. Is there an optimal amount of drinks? I'm like 4 or 5, and then I tip over. Unless it's scotch, then it's 2 or 3, which I found out one Thursday night at Bourbon Street. But where are you at on that spectrum, Tom?
I drink when I play. For some people it is definitely is performance enhancing. Some people have nerves, and and they drink to settle those nerves, or they drink just to have a good time, and it makes them loose, and that makes them enjoy the game more. I drink when I play, but that's more of a social aspect. Like all my buddies are drinking, I'm drinking. Like if I went to a tournament and nobody's drinking, I don't think it'll really affect how I play.
Okay.
But there's definitely a point where, is it 8? It depends on what I'm drinking. How much is too much, because there's definitely a tipping point, you hit that top and you're feeling great, and then boom, you crash. And I've definitely had plenty of those times.
So the next time you're at Bourbon, I'm going to buy you 2 buckets before we start. Unless you're my partner, then, which never happens because Johnny never gives me a good partner. Yeah. Just 1 bucket. There you go. So what other sports other than bags are you into? Are you a hockey guy, basketball guy, football, like all around, baseball? Like what do you like other than bags?
I guess my favorite sport to watch would be football. Okay. And then baseball. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, baseball. So perfect.
You're an asshole, Colin.
Yeah.
Cubs or Sox?
Well, hey, this show's for South Side, right?
It is, but we have 1 Cubs fan and 1 Sox fan. So what are you, a Cubs fan or a Sox fan?
I'm a Sox fan.
Yeah. Oh, you are the first ACL Pro we've had on this show. The first ACL Pro that has been a Sox fan. The rest, other than one who was a Cardinals fan, the rest has been Cubs fans. And the Cardinals fan we'll never have on again because he's a Cardinals fan. So we don't do the Cardinals.
Who was the Cardinals fan?
I don't even remember his name because I don't care because he's a Cardinals fan.
The video.
Right. Yeah.
Wasn't it?
It was a great interview. I don't like the Cardinals. I hate the Cardinals. See, I don't mind the White. I'm a Cubs fan that doesn't hate the White Sox. We were just running a streak, which you just ended. It was Wally Kessler. That's who it was. Johnny chimes in. But we don't like. I don't hate the White Sox. Like I'll watch when the Cubs aren't on. If they're not on at the same time, I watch the White Sox too. But I watch like 200 games a year. Like I don't just watch the Cubs or the Sox. I watch baseball. Period. Like I don't. Opening day is the day after my birthday. I don't take my birthday off of work. I take opening day off of work so that way I can sit in my underwear with nachos and watch baseball from noon to midnight. You know what I mean? Like that's my thing. So, are you a Bears fan then? Yeah, you're all Chicago fan.
No,
you're not a Bears fan.
Well, so listen, I'll root for the Bears, but
oh God, don't tell me you're a Packers fan.
No, God, no. This one I don't even know. I can't even explain. But somehow, for some reason, I became a Cowboys fan when I was a little kid.
Oh God!
Wow.
Yeah. Trust me. Nothing drives me crazier than watching Jerry Jones ruin this team and Dak Prescott blowing the opportunity of a talented roster. So
super talented.
Yeah, Dak Prescott is one of those quarterbacks that will frustrate the hell out of you because he really does put up numbers. But then I don't even know because you guys had Tony Romo too, and Tony Romo would put up great numbers. Yeah. And then something would happen in the playoffs, and there was like this switch where it was just like, hey, it's playoff time, it's January, time to suck. Like it was like a switch. Dude. It was ridiculous. But damn, Cowboys.
I know, dude. I'm a 90s kid, right? So, you grow up with Jordan dominating, so being a Bulls fan made the perfect sense. Yeah. And then the Cowboys, it was the dynasty of the 90s. So it's like they were on TV. True. The Bears sucked.
And there was the Bills.
Bears always suck.
You could have been a Bills fan.
The Bills were never on TV for us. At least, I mean, how was that? You know, it was.
They were in the Super Bowl every
NFC.
year. I mean,
I
we
want
were
an
losing
NFC
it every
football.
year, but they were in the Super Bowl every year.
Well, why would you want to root for losers? You know,
I'm a Cubs fan. What do you mean?
there you go. Everything makes sense. You're probably a Bills fan too.
I actually was a
math
Bills
kid.
fan in the '90s. I was
See,
I was
that
rooting
makes
for the
sense.
Bills to win. Yeah. I've always had my heart broken, and I always tell people too. They're like, if the Bears didn't exist, who's your team? And I'm always like, man, when I think about it, I would probably pull for the Vikings or the Lions, which are two more teams that would just break my heart year after year after year. Like most people are like, oh, the Patriots, because I lived in New England for 15 years, but I don't like them either. Like I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how you could sit there and say you'd be a Lions or Vikings fan being a Bears fan, though. That's
well, because they'd be more local. Like if the Bears didn't exist, like who would I? I'm not going to be a Packers
Get 'em,
fan.
Tom.
To hell
Get
with
'em.
them. But I would have to go like somewhere local, somewhere where I could go see a game.
Rip his head off.
why not pick Indianapolis then, man? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Fair.
have all this built-up hatred for the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings. I would never go root for the Eagles. I would never root for the Giants or the Redskins. Heck, I don't even like the Cardinals, and they're still not in the division anymore.
So you were really happy this past Super Bowl then?
Oh, dude, nothing made me happier when watching them lose. Like,
how did you feel about the holding call? Now, be honest. So don't just be a Cowboys fan and answer this question. How did you really feel about that call? Like, if that had been called against the Chiefs or against against the Chiefs, would you have felt the same way you felt about it, the way it was called against the Eagles?
Listen, it was a hold, but they weren't calling that type of penalty all game.
True.
It was,
Yep.
and it wasn't egregious either. It was minimal, and I don't even think, even if he didn't hold him, that ball was overthrown. So
yes, thank you. I'm with you. And that's coming from a Cowboys fan, people who hates the Eagles. So all you guys out there coming at me on Facebook saying, "Oh, it was a hold," blah blah blah. It was. But it shouldn't have been called. It was bad officiating.
And wasn't it Juju that he was the receiver that got held?
Yeah, there's no way Juju was getting to that ball.
More reason who knows if he would have caught that ball. That would have been like if any Bears receiver was there.
That ball could have been a dime and he still wouldn't have caught the ball. Yeah. All right, Tom. So we're gonna let you get out of here. Are you coming to Bourbon today?
Well, if yours going to be free shots and free buckets of beer, maybe now I might.
There we go.
Yeah,
attaboy.
Money,
Tom. Take his money.
Yeah. Johnny's buying all the shots though today, not me. I mean, unless if you're not my partner, I'll buy a bunch of shots. Actually, I got an extra $500 now. Should have been 900.
Well, I'll take 3. We'll have some fun.
All right, let's bring Johnny back on here. Johnny, you got anything for Tom before we let you guys go?
No. Tom, thanks for coming out and doing this interview. Appreciate it. I'm a big fan of you guys. You, Nico, the whole Tyne squad. I'm a big Tyne Bags fan. So, do you have any words for your sponsors or anyone you want to shout out before we end?
Oh, well, yeah, obviously. I mean, Titan Bags, West Georgia Cornhole. I mean, they make it possible for me to travel and play this sport. Fan Bags Cornhole, another great friend and sponsor of mine who makes boards. And then, I got my apparel lineup with Bust You Up Cornhole. Me and Nico got a lot of synergies, being a team and everything. So we got a lot of the same sponsors. But yeah, I mean, I got my family at home that, if it wasn't, I mean, honestly, forget the sponsors, if it's not for them, my wife letting me go out and do this, it wouldn't be possible without her either. So
relax, Fitz. He said fan bags, not fun bags.
He likes fun bags.
All right, Tom. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate it. It was a great interview. We'll talk to you soon, and hopefully I'll see you out at Bourbon this afternoon.
Yep. All right, thanks for having me, guys.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right, so that was Tom Gustafson, Johnny, man. That was that was another good interview, man. That was another that was good stuff. I think that might have been one of the best ones we've had so far.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. The fact that you got into sports, minus the Cowboys.
Yeah,
gibberish.
He's a Cowboys fan.
I mean, it could have been worse, right? It could have been Packers or.
If he was a Packers fan, I would have ended the interview right away. I would have just, cut him off, put him on mute.
Good thing. Oh, put him on mute and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I think Tom's having technical difficulties."
start talking like you're breaking up. Like I can't. Got.
Good thing he did. Good thing he didn't find out that Wally Casher is also a Packers fan.
No,
diehard Packers fan. So I'm like, dude, I forgot to mention that you would have ended the interview.
Dude, he is fired. He is fired.
I believe opening day. Yeah. I'm sorry, Fitz.
No, go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
I believe on opening day he was doing an ACL stream, and he was wearing his cheese head.
Oh my god!
And his Packers jersey. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. So
I would take it off his head and beat him with it.
I think I threw up. I think I threw up in my mouth that day.
You should have taken off his cheese head and threw up in that.
Well, it was live or stream. So I wasn't there. Otherwise,
I would have found him. I would have found him.
Things would have ended more abruptly.
All right, Johnny, man. Well, we appreciate it. I know you got to get to the NAWS event. I will definitely see you out there. We're gonna go buy some stuff to donate as well. So we'll be there this afternoon.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you guys
again, Johnny.
Later. All right, so that was Johnny Torres and Tom Gustafson, man. Great interview. I love the story. We got him to open up a little bit there. The one thing I didn't get to was I didn't get him to call out an ACL Pro. I want to know who he was going to call out. I'll talk to him about it today. Find out which ACL Pro he would want to call out, if any. I was hoping he'd call out like Nico or something, because that way, get the heat off me. Nico could stop sending his friends to take my money. But so look, we've got great interviews. We've got a lot of stuff lined up here. We've got Bourbon Street coming up too for the NFL draft. We're going to be live from Bourbon Street for the NFL draft night one. That's going to be a big night. We've got a whole lot of giveaways planned. We've got some raffles that we're going to get into. We've got a whole lot of stuff planned for that night. So make sure you're out there. April 27th, night one of the NFL draft. It's going to be a blast. Should be a couple hundred people there, man. It's going to be a fun night for Man Hour for sure. Sure. So the Blackhawks traded Patrick Kane. And I'm not going to lie, there were there were some man tears when the trade actually happened. I watched a tribute video to him, which is like watching, when those videos that they always pull, which drive me nuts. I got a buddy who tags me in them all the time just to mess with me. But like, you'll have those videos where like a soldier comes home and the kids run up to him at like an event at school. And no matter who you are, unless you are like, Virginia McCaskey and you're 90% dead, like you're going to cry when you watch these videos. Yeah. And I saw the Kaner video, the tribute video, and I'm like, God. And it just, dude, that one hit differently. Like in 2020 when we started trading, or 2021 when the Cubs started trading away all of the 2016 team, it sucked, right? But I understood it. With the Patrick Kane deal, it hit different. Like this guy brought 3 championships and was the biggest key cog in a dynasty that this city has really ever seen other than the 90s Bulls, right? Like we've never had a team like this that we knew year in and year out had a chance to win a Stanley Cup.
Fast too. Those early teams were so quick, and how aesthetically pleasing, not to use a big word, was Kane to watch. I mean, oh my God, he's for a long time, probably still at certain points now, one of the funnest guys to watch on the ice for sure.
The greatest American-born player of all time.
Yeah, and it's not really that close. I mean, right?
No, it's not. I mean, this guy did things on the ice that you'd never seen it before. right? Like have you ever seen the video of him at practice with like 100 pucks on the ice, and he's got one puck that he's like, his hands were ridiculous. He had I mean, they call him Showtime for a reason. I mean, because he showed up in big moments. That the first cup against Philly, still the puck that nobody saw go in except for Patrick Kane, who started celebrating the cup win in overtime.
That backhand, man. That backhand was beautiful. It ruined Luongo's career, that backhand.
Yeah. And I mean, he was ridiculous. And it's so tough. Have you seen him in a Rangers uniform yet?
Yeah, I have, man. That for me is when it hit. That was kind of like, and I don't want to bring it up yet, but seeing Abreu in a Houston Astros, but maybe even worse because Abreu never won championships. Not that was his fault, but there is a lot of an emotional and time investment and drinking that went on watching that man play. And he was terrific. And you know what? Another great thing about him is it didn't take him long to acclimate to a new line. Like if he was on a line with you know, if they restructured the team, he could play with a lot of different styles and players. Yeah, it's tough, man. It really is.
Yeah, and look, Patrick Kane is and will forever be a Chicago Blackhawk. Like he is etched. They may bring him back in free agency. Wouldn't that be something to see Patrick Kane and Connor Bedard on the same line next year? If they can find a way to fall behind Columbus, who is a point ahead of them for the worst record, which still in hockey doesn't mean that you get the number one pick. It's not like baseball. It's more like basketball where it's a draft lottery. But it just means you get the most lottery balls in there. Maybe they'll get a frozen one because you want the Chicago Blackhawks to succeed. So maybe we'll get a frozen ball in there for Connor Bedard. But it's a tough time to be a Blackhawks fan. I mean, it's a tough time to be a Chicago sports fan as well. I mean, because even look at the Bulls.
Period.
Pick up Patrick Beverley. They looked really good for 2 games against 2 other really not superior teams, and then Phoenix kind of slapped you back down to reality. I heard people talking about the Bulls, and hey, is this team going to turn it around now that they have Pat Bev? Is he going to
said that?
Yeah, there have been times they've never they haven't had a winning streak longer than 3 games all season long. All season long, and that's what this team is: win 3, lose 4, win 3, lose 2. Win 3, lose 3. Like that's what this team has done all season long, and it's maddening because
how good they were
talent level.
Yeah, how good they were 3/4 of the season last season. And I'm like, I'll be a broken record, but is Lonzo Ball that big of a difference? I think he might have been. And then Zach LaVine comes out and says they haven't had an identity at all. He says that. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I like Billy Donovan, but he lost the team.
Is he the worst extension in Bulls history, Zach LaVine? Because it's looking really bad right now. Not talent wise, because Zach LaVine has the talent to be a top 5 shooter in the league. He really does. But he is just a head case, and he cannot. He reminds me of like you want to go to like football terms, like a Juju Smith-Schuster, who was great when he had other pieces around him, but when he had to be the guy, could not carry that load.
Yeah,
and it's almost like they broke under pressure.
Yep.
Like, and he seems like he is that guy that they just gave a max deal to.
I thought that it was the knee for a while, but it's deeper than that. Yeah, I mean, there's just certain guys who have that Kobe, that MJ, and even LeBron thing. I mean, you could say what you want about the guy, but he's dedicated to the game. And just don't have that same killer instinct, one, and that dedication too. It's just on a different level with some guys. And, there's nothing wrong with that, but you don't give that guy an extension. You have to get between those ears. You have to figure out the man behind the basketball. Which is, I guess, sounds kind of cheesy, but anyway, it's true. You have to find, and they don't. And another Reinsdorfian push to mediocrity.
Yeah.
I have to say. Billy Donovan. Yeah, he's a good coach. He's just slightly above average, but he ain't going to bring you to the promised land. Probably not. He's not a Pat Riley. He's not a Phil Jackson. Even though
should
Phil
we have
Jackson
seen
used
this
to be the
coming
coach
last year with Zach LaVine, though, when DeRozan was taking over the team when they needed a boost the most?
You're right. Great point. We should have. When DeRozan came here, and that's grown ass man.
Yeah.
And you
I
look
love
at him and
DeRozan.
compare it to Zach LaVine. Yeah, I mean, he is. I'd like him to play a little bit more defense, but he's still a competent defender. And he does hold on to the ball and isolates himself a little bit too much. But other than that, he's a grown-ass man. I mean, that's a guy you want with the ball in his hands at the end of a game. And
would you trade LaVine this offseason?
Yeah, what are you going to get for him?
I mean, something's better than nothing, right? At this point, like he has proven that he can't be the guy. He has proven that he is disruptive in the locker room. Mm-hmm. He has proven that he will throw you under the bus to save his own skin. Like it's time. Like you send him to wherever, LA, whatever, for whatever you can get for him. I mean, I would just do it, and maybe even you might even have to eat some of the contract at this point.
Yeah, I don't know if you're getting much. Yeah, and you might have to eat that. The money's got to be right in trades in the NBA, more than any other sport, I think, or maybe similar in hockey. But yeah, I mean, you almost have to now with some of the comments and some of the reactions he's had to lowering his play time and not being in there in a couple games at the end. It's like.
And it's sad because he was supposed to be the new guy for the Bulls. Like they thought of him like we had Jordan, and then after Jordan, we waited a couple years, and then we got Derrick Rose, who was great until his knees went bad. And he's still one of the best guys in the game, like actual character guys in the game. And he LaVine was supposed to be the next guy, and he just can't handle it. I don't think. I just think that it's too much for him.
Yeah, maybe it is, and maybe that frustration. He instead of taking responsibility himself, he's pushing it out to the team, and there is some problems with the team, and maybe Billy Donovan hasn't done all the right moves, but he's not a terrible coach.
Yeah,
he isn't. And yeah, instead of taking responsibility, he pushes it back on the team and other people and plays the blame game. And you don't like to see that in a leader or somebody who's supposed to be a leader anyway.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Speaking of leaders, Justin Fields, Chicago Bears. We've got the free agency starts tomorrow, I believe. We've got the draft coming up, and in speaking about the draft, you had the combine this past week. Which do you take any stock in the combine?
Not really. Who said it? It's a bunch. Oh, the coach for Detroit said it's a bunch of guys running around in pajamas.
That's what it is. And I've said that for years. People put so much stock in the combine. I'm like, okay, great. So you look at guys that have had great combines who, you look at, what's his name there? The Zach Wilson, right? Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, impressed with the arm and what he can do with his arm. There's nobody in front of him. I could go to a combine and look like a competent quarterback. Like there is no pressure. There's nobody running at you. There's nobody trying to block you. All you're doing is throwing the ball and your receiver is catching it. That's all you're doing. You might be able to show off your cannon and throw it for like a 90-yard pass or something stupid like that. But what are you really showing in the combine? What are people? The combine is a useless tool.
There's some things, I guess. Famously Saquon Barkley had a terrific combine, and it was how quick he could get. I forget the stat. I was just trying to look it up, but it was how quick he could get, and his jump cuts were really like ridiculous. So it did help him in that way, because that's really what you want in football, is a guy who can get quick really fast. I know that sounds
but you knew Saquon was going to be something, right? You know what I mean? Like are we really going into this combine saying man, if Bryce Young can really shell out in this combine, he's got to be the guy. You know what I mean? Like, the only thing that this combine showed me is that the 3 technique guy from Georgia that got arrested,
Jalen Carter.
Carter. That's the only thing that came out that was relevant for me out of this combine.
Yeah, you sent me that.
Like, he shook up the draft, right? Because now you have character issues. If he had stayed at the scene of the accident, it would be a completely different thing, right? Because at least he took up for what he was doing. But what he did was leave the scene of the accident in hopes that nobody was going to find out that he was at the accident. And that, to me, is a character flaw. It's not about the act. It's about how you own up to the act, right? Like Jameis Winston and the crab legs thing way back when, right? Like, he stole some damn crab legs, but they were going to throw them in the trash anyway. Like, it was a whole thing, and it was bigger than what it needed to be. That's what the Jalen Carter thing would have been had he stayed at the scene of the accident. It'd have been like, all right, you know what? The kid was there. They're college kids. They made a mistake, whatever. But he owned up to his actions. Now you've got to own up to it, but only because you were caught.
Yeah.
And how do you perceive that as a team, as a GM? If I'm the Bears now, it kind of changed my mind. I don't know about you. It kind of changed my mind as to what they do with the number 1 pick now. Because I don't know that I want them, if they trade with Houston, I don't know that I want them picking behind Arizona and trading with Indianapolis, because I don't want them going Will Anderson. I might utilize that number 1 pick now to get Will Anderson, because I don't know that I want Jalen Carter on my football team.
Is this still a discussion though now? 20 years ago, he's dropping maybe out of the first round, or at least mid first round pick to end of the first round.
It has to, right? Character wise.
I mean, it counted for more, 15, 20 years ago. I still think he's in the top 5, top 6 of the draft. He's a generational talent in my eyes. He pops out at you when you see him on the field, but I would agree with you. I don't want the Bears to get him. I really don't. I've had enough Chicago teams with character issues. I'm a White Sox fan, for Christ's sake. Yeah, it's a tough choice. I mean, you got to talk to the person, like I said before. Try to get in between those ears, see what's going on in there. Was it a total mistake or was it not? You're going to have to do your due diligence there, and you better get a 3 technique then in free agency.
Or if you do trade with Indy and say Will Anderson is off the board at 4, do you go with the offensive tackle from Northwestern that everybody's talking about, Polish kid, instead of Jalen Carter?
I've heard the guy from Ohio State might be better, but
he had a good combine.
Yeah. But either not that high up. I don't think so. I think there's got to be a scenario where they have 2 picks in the top 20 out of this number this year.
So the only way that happens is if you trade with Houston first.
Yeah, Houston first, and then with Indianapolis.
So then you get the 2 and the 12, and then you flip the 2 to Indy. But if you're Indy, I started thinking about this the other day. I started really diving deep into draft and free agency and all that stuff. If you're Indy sitting at 4, 1 is the only pick that you want. If Houston hops ahead of you, they're getting their quarterback. At number 2 and number 3 now sit the Bears and the Cardinals. Neither one of them are going to take a quarterback. At least we don't expect the Cardinals to take a quarterback at this point.
No, they're not.
Unless they release another Call of Duty in the meantime or something. But we don't expect them to take a quarterback. If you're Indy, you don't have to move. You don't have to give up a ton of capital to move up to 2 because nobody's taking your guy ahead of you now.
Well, unless Seattle, Carolina, other teams in that bucket.
You're talking
are
about them more worried about moving up to 2?
Yeah, about somebody else moving up to 2, taking a quarterback, then you're fucked at 4. Or you're like, well, maybe Will Levi will come, and that's who they're,
I think
but
Will
who knows?
Levi's going to go at 1.
Yeah, that's the thing. You never know how it's going to go. I mean, he's toolsy as hell. He's definitely the most
I think he's the
talented.
best quarterbact in the draft.
Yeah,
I do. I mean,
like I went down a rabbit hole with him, and he's got some. Yeah,
yeah.
But,
I did a deep dive this week. I was watching tape on all 3 quarterbacks, and I was really impressed by Will Levi. I don't want him over Justin Fields. I don't.
But Justin Fields is probably more talented than him.
Yes, to me, Justin Fields is the guy you build around him. And Ryan Poles, he kind of had Justin Fields back this week, while at the same time still kind of keeping a little bit of confusion there. Did you hear what Ryan Poles said?
I did not.
He basically said, with Justin, we're still leaning towards trading the number 1 pick because Justin did some good things out there. And he said, I want to keep Justin involved in everything that we do on draft day, so that way nothing surprises him. So basically that's like, hey, where are you? And then somebody's saying everywhere but nowhere.
Exactly.
Wait, I don't.
He's got to be cryptic, and he loves this. And I'm telling you, some of the people that have said, "Oh, the Bears they're gonna trade Justin Fields."
Your brother.
That had to be leaked. Yeah, like my brother. That had to be leaked to them from polls. Whether he was lying to those reporters or those ex-general managers or whatever, he wants that to come out. And we've said it a lot on the show. Don't listen to anything anyone's saying. They're not trading Justin Fields. It doesn't make any sense to do it this year. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't make any sense. Even next year. That kid out of I can't remember his name. Caleb Williams. He does not impress me. He is not Justin Fields. I'm sorry, he's not. He's not going to be that guy. You look at Caleb Williams and you see a talented guy. You know what I see out of him? I see the same thing that I saw out of Trevor Lawrence. A guy that is going to be a great college quarterback, that is going to be just an above par NFL quarterback, which is what I said about Trevor Lawrence coming out of the draft. I said this guy is going to be a bust, and not a bust in the fact that he's never going to be good, but a bust in the fact that he is not the guy that everybody is talking about coming out of the draft. He is not a guy that is going to come in, take over your franchise, and lead you to 4 out of 5 Super Bowls like we've had with Patrick Mahomes. He's not that guy. And Justin Fields is going to be an MVP candidate year in and year out once he is on a team that is built around him.
He's going to be a monster. I mean, I really believe that. And I really hate agreeing with you so much, but I think he's going to be a monster.
It's easy to agree with me. I'm smart.
Juan, let's back it up a little bit here. Back up the train. Let's reverse. Let's forget about. We talked about time before. Let's go back in time. Back to the future.
Back to my cash out of my bet last night.
Yes. You're not going to get over that anytime soon, are you?
That was tough, man. I was really. I wasn't upset. Like because I still won $500, right? I was just mad at myself for not sticking with it, right? Because how cool would it have been to post the win, not only win the $1,000, well, close to $1,000, but also be able to post, hey, look, which I still did. I still did pick every single fight correct.
Yeah.
But I cashed it out early to make sure, guarantee myself. That was my thing, was that if Jones happens to lose, at least I guaranteed myself this money.
Yeah.
But if he wins, I still guaranteed myself the money. I just I didn't win as much as I could have. I didn't lose.
Yeah, I've played a lot of poker. So when I play, when people want, they folded, run it out. Like, if you're playing Texas Hold'em or something, run it out. I want to see what cards I could have got. I never want to do that. Once I fold, the game is over. It doesn't matter. I made the decision. The game is over.
And that's why casinos won't let you. That's why casinos won't let you.
The game's over. Like, I don't need to run anything out. I ended the game. I folded.
Yep.
Like, it's over. There's nothing. Those cards were never going to be mine, So you got to think of like that. You got guaranteed money too.
I won at the poker tables last Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah, I sat down with 300. I walked out with a little over 5. So and the funny thing was, I was talking with a dealer there, and he's like, dude, you're sitting right now, but you're sitting at a table with like the really good players. These are guys who go and play in tournaments all the time.
Yeah.
He's like, if you come Sunday through Thursday, and if you come between 8 and 4 p.m., he's like, you got players that just don't know what they're doing, that are just coming to play.
Yeah.
And spend money. He's like, you can walk out, and he showed me another guy who sat down at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and he was about ready to cash out when I sat down. The guy had over $3,000 in his stack, sat down with 300.
Wow.
So like, then I started thinking, I came home and I was kind of messing around with Michelle a little bit. I was like, I could just quit if I'm winning $200 to $300 a day, babe, I'm making $1,000 a week. I said, I could be a pro poker player. I could just play poker all day long.
Oh my God. Moneymaker.
And she was like, yeah, that's not happening. I know.
You couldn't sell it.
But in the back of my head, I'm like, I know, babe, I'll be back.
Yeah.
So it is easy to agree with me, though. So there are some things that the thing with me, especially with sports, and I kind of use this in life in general, is that I see things from both sides of the fence. Like, I just call it as I see it. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's always two sides to a story, and it was funny because I was listening to a TikTok last night, and I watch these comedians on TikTok all the time.
I know.
And this one comedian,
they're good, but
this one comedian said something about he was talking to this woman, and she was talking about her boyfriend, and she was like, I broke up with him because he wasn't he wouldn't do anything in life. And he was like, so like he wouldn't get a job, or like he wouldn't do anything after work. She was like, well, after work. And he's like, well, what do you do for work? Oh, well, he worked in the ER. He's a doctor. So he was saving lives, and after work he came home and didn't want to do anything because he was too busy saving lives. And he's like, he's like 5 minutes ago to the crowd. He's like, 5 minutes ago, you're like, yeah, screw that. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. And now you're like, damn, you're a bitch. Yeah. So there's always two sides of the story. So I always see things from both sides of the fence. And with sports, I'm the same way.
Yep.
If my team sucks, I'm going to tell you that my team sucks. If my GM is not doing his job, and I would be the same way. It's probably a good thing that we haven't had a press pass yet, because I probably would have already gotten us banned from having one anyway. Because this is how I would approach an interview with a GM. I'm not going. If I sat in front of Jed Hoyer right now, I would ask the same questions that I talk about on the show. I would ask, what was the thought process behind Wilson Contreras? What did you guys not like about him that the St. Louis Cardinals said, we're going to move forward with you to take over for our Hall of Fame catcher?
And let's go back to what you said about 20 minutes ago, where in 2021 they started to sell off the team. Did the Dodgers sell off that team? Did the Dodgers sell off the 2020 or 2021 Cubs?
Why didn't you find out? Why didn't you find a way to do stuff and build around? Keep one piece. Keep, whether it was Rizzo, whether it was Bryant, whether it was Baez was probably the most expendable piece in my eyes. Mm-hmm. I loved Javi Baez. He was one of my favorite players just because of his flair. But to me, he was the most expendable piece. But why? Like, even Wilson, you can't. There is no baseball reasoning to me other than I have heard stories, and the pitching staff has been kind of leaning towards it this spring in interviews as well, is that they didn't like his preparation. They didn't like the way he handled the young pitching staff. He was a dick, is what they're saying. But sometimes you have to let a guy be a dick when they're that talented.
Yeah, then you work with the player a little bit more. I mean, this is the first time hearing about this. All of a sudden, he's a dick.
Well, yeah, and that's what I've heard from the beginning, is that they didn't like his preparation. They didn't like the way he handled the young pitching staff, and that's why they let him walk. But I mean, you're talking about a guy who is probably going to be a perennial all-star. And to me, he leads the way he was interacting with Chris Morel last year. I mean, I don't know if you saw, I don't know how many Cubs games you actually watch. I watched just about all of them. But there was a point where Christopher Morel came up in the bottom of the ninth inning. And this was after, he had that big home run and everything. And after his debut, came up with the bases loaded and a chance to win the game with 2 outs in the ninth. And he swung wildly at the first pitch. And he looks back, and Wilson Contreras is on deck. And he calls Chris's name, and Chris looks back at him, and he goes, breathe, right? So then you see Chris Morel take a deep breath, get back in the box, and he shoots one straight up the gap to center field, wins the game. To me, that's a guy who can lead young players.
Yeah.
To me, I'm not seeing what you guys are telling, but I don't see what's in the clubhouse, though. You know what I mean? So, like,
no, you
can't
don't.
be two different players. Like, I know a lot of people hated a lot of players hated Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
So there are things behind the scenes that you can see, but I'm talking about on the field. What I'm watching is on the field, and what I'm watching on the field is a guy who can lead young players, a guy who is a leader on your team, a guy who just calmed a guy down in the bottom of the ninth inning with a chance to win the game.
Now that he's gone, you're going to say that.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the Cardinals and says the organization there is run better, which he kind of has to say.
Dude,
but
Cubs fans can't be mad at that because they are a better run organization.
Yep.
Traditionally, they've been a better organization.
Absolutely.
They've built a better organization. And even in the last 7 years where the Cubs have been a more dominant team in this division, the Cardinals still have been a better organization because they've stayed with you. They were never gone.
Scouting yourself, scouting players, finding players, second,
2015
third,
to move on to the
round.
NLCS, you had to beat the Cardinals to get there. 2016, you had to beat the Cardinals to get there. The Cardinals never went away. They were always building around their pieces. They were always there. There are reasons why guys like Yadier Molina spends a whole career with that organization. Yep. When was the last time? It's probably that I could think of is Ryan Sandberg. A time that a player on a Cubs uniform started his career with the team. Well, actually, he started with the Phillies, but they went and picked him up in that trade.
Yeah.
But played his whole career with the Cubs. I can't remember the last time when was the last time we watched a Sox player?
God, Frank Thomas didn't even. We're talking. Yeah. Arguably the best right-handed hitter ever.
Yeah. Now Jose Abreu won't.
Yep. Nope.
Like it doesn't happen in Chicago, and I don't know why. And it's the same thing I would ask Jed Hoyer too. Yep. I would ask him, hey, what are you talking about when you say you like the model that the Tampa Bay Rays, who can't draw fans and who don't keep a player past their freaking rookie deal? Why do you like that model more than you like the Dodgers model or the Yankees model or the Red Sox model? Why do you like those models more? Why you are the fourth richest team in Major League Baseball.
Yep.
Why aren't you spending fourth richest team in Major League Baseball money? That's what I want to know. And those are the questions that I would ask if I'm sitting in front of a GM.
Yeah.
Which is probably why guys like me and you don't get to sit in front of GMs.
The losses were biblical. I'll never forget that. I mean, really, both these baseball organizations are.
Yeah, I would light up an owner. I think I would be more hard on Ricketts than I would be on Jed Hoyer.
Oh, I'd take it to Reinsdorf. I mean, favoring mediocrity over, innovation. Time and time again. Like let's capture lightning in a bottle. We'll be mediocre and maybe we'll have a couple career years and make it, and get a World Series or something like that. Yeah.
Right. It boggles my mind how year in and year out Chicago teams are treated like we're small market teams.
Even the Sox now are valued, 12th.
Yeah.
And they're spending a little bit of money. They're up there, but they could be spending more for sure. Don't tell me you're losing money.
When you look at this team, let's go to the White Sox.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this team. I know we skipped Fitz gibberish. Maybe we could do it at the end, or we can just skip it this week. But whatever you want to do, we'll do it either way. But I want to get into this White Sox team because
we can the my Fitz gibberish is global. So I mean we could do it any week pretty much. So
yeah, absolutely. We could even record it as a special segment. You could just record it after and we'll go with it. But this White Sox team, if they finish any less than what to you, this is a bad year.
If they don't win the division and a playoff series. I mean, I want them like really, and when they lose a playoff series, if they do, like, you know, not the division championship and maybe trying to win a pennant, if they lose, if they get swept or something like that, that's even a failure in my eyes. Like they have to be competitive with the Houstons of the world, with the Yankees of the world. Even the Tampa Bay Devil Rays are going to be good again this year. I mean, they have to be competitive with them. Cleveland is not in their class. They're just not. Neither are the Twins. Don't give me that crap.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just not. They have better hitting and better pitching than both of those teams. They better be on that level. And really, I have my doubts. I mean, I have my doubts. There's a question mark in right field. Looks like Elvis Andrews. That's going to be interesting. We doubting Thomas. We demand the Fitz gibberish segment.
That's awesome. To me, for anything less than an ALCS, to me is a bad year for the White Sox this year. This team should be in an ALCS. This team should be competing for a World Series. This team, the way it is built and the way it is constructed, and now with Tony La Russa being out of the way, there is no excuses. This team needs to perform.
No, and Pedro Grifol seems, you know, at least above competence. I mean, they're actually, but how troubling is it to hear from your spring training to a man? We weren't a family. We weren't prepared. We didn't have that killer instinct. I mean, over to every single player says that. You let that happen. Like I said last week, you wasted 2 fucking years, the last 2 years of Jose Abreu's contract, one of the better players you've ever had, and a better man than he was a player.
Yes.
I think that was obvious to everyone. It's obvious to the people in the Astros act like they won the fucking lottery.
Did you see the interview with him on the first day of spring training in Houston?
Yeah, he said the same thing I just said. They weren't a family. He didn't feel like he was respected.
Did you see the hurt?
Guy after the 2020 season said he wants to, whatever the contract is, he doesn't care. They're going to figure it out. He's going to end his career as the White Sox. What happened in between the 2020 season and the end of the 2022 season? What happened, Combs? Tell me what had changed after the 2020 season.
They brought in Tony La Russa.
Yes, you had a fucking vampire take over your fucking team. Who likes the hooch? You know, 2 DUIs that you brushed on the table. Reinsdorf knew about it, but your GM didn't. Like,
I was talking about the interview before he said all that. So before the first spring training game,
your Fitz gibberish.
He was walking into he was walking into the clubhouse, and a reporter stopped him and asked him. And he said, "Hey, how do you feel about your time in Chicago?" And like you could see, it took him like 5 seconds, and he actually teared up, and he says it was great and it's tough, and he walked away. And like you can see how much he loved being a Chicago White Sox, and it's like, how do you not keep this guy? You know, we just talked about Wilson Contreras, and we saw like the farewell to him before it was even a farewell, when he thought he was getting traded. When guys like that care so much about being where they're at, and they are at that level, how do we let these guys go? But yet Zach Levine is still a Chicago Bull. Like, what are we doing in this city with these teams? It drives me nuts.
Exactly, and there's just the added. You could just add it on top of it with Abreu. I mean, I know Contreras you just mentioned that he was a leader, how he was a leader, but Jose Abreu was the leader of the White Sox. He was the heart and soul as well. And they let him go to a team that, he's going to break there in Houston.
Dude, that team they're going to be tough to imagine. ALCS, White Sox Astros, Game 6. Bottom of the 9th in Houston. White Sox down 3-2. Jose Abreu hits a walk-off.
Yep.
That to me,
man does.
that to me would be, and not. I really don't want to see the White Sox lose. I would, if the White Sox win the World Series, I would be happy. I'd be happy for guys like you. I'd be happy for the city. I'd be happy for my friends who are White Sox fans. But to me, that would be a fitting ending for the White Sox. That would be a fitting ending for what Reinsdorf has done to this team.
Mm-hmm.
And I would not be rooting for it to happen, but it would be fitting.
Guy's an RBI machine, man.
Dude,
and it doesn't even have to be a home run. The guy will get the ball into the outfield and without it being caught. Like somehow,
Astros players were asked about him this during spring training, and they're like, we can't believe he was available.
Yeah,
we can't believe we got him. Like, nobody around the league can understand why he's not a White Sox.
Maybe because the White Sox got 4 first basemen in drafts, you know.
Well, and
Andrew Vaughn's got to play somewhere. You know,
they were playing 7 of them last year in the field. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would have traded Vaughn before I traded Abreu. That's just me. I don't get it, but you know, is what it is. Do you have time to get in Fitz gibberish, or do you got?
Let's get it in.
All right. Doubting Thomas wants it. Doubting Thomas is getting it. Hopefully, Doubting Thomas is still listening.
We lost him as a listener.
Let's get into it. Let's get into Fitz gibberish.
All right, let's go. It's another edition of Fitz gibberish. A diatribe, a conspiracy on an island in the middle of passionate and sometimes, or all times, inaccurate sports talk. Baseball is boring. It's too slow. Our culture has passed it by. And my favorite, nothing is happening for too long. We've heard it all before. The baseball Illuminati has as well. Making the pickoff throw a thing of the past. Slides into second base and run-ins with the catcher. Sidebar, if Derek Jeter wasn't so sexually promiscuous, would these rule changes be in effect? Little background here. When Jeter had these mostly anonymous sexcapades, after the woman signed an NDA, she was given a gift basket. The man certainly loves action. Action. When Theo Epstein was addressing the media about the rule changes, he had this to say.
He felt it was essential to listen to the fans of today, to identify the areas of greatest consensus, and to move closer to the best version of the game simply by giving fans more of what they like and less of what they dislike. So this entire process started with an exhaustive program of fan outreach, surveys,
I've never wanted to punch him more.
Interviews, focus groups. At every turn, fans of all different ages and all different levels of engagement were clear and consistent in their desire for faster pace of play, for more athleticism on display in the field and on the bases, for more balls in play, and for more action overall.
There's that word again, action. Is this the gift basket we get, Theo, after you fuck us? Are we letting focus groups run our sports now? Like we're a bad sitcom or the Jerry Springer show? Yes, I said it, Jerry Springer. For all of you who don't remember, the Springer Show was once just a normal talk show, speaking about the issues, having guests that hadn't married their fathers, and there wasn't one fight. Wasn't good enough, though. We needed action. By the end, the show was a conveyor belt directly from trailer parks all across America. There was always fights, incest, and number 2 on Jerry's all-time list, I married a horse. All that was left of the original show was Jerry's final thoughts. It was Fitz gibberish light, and no one listened to his final thoughts. Could you blame them? Action can sometimes be overrated. I know it could be hard for some people to realize. Baseball is beautiful in its never ending uniqueness and detail. Every situation is new, different, and there's always something happening, whether you see it or not. Jim told me in a 2008 game against the Cubs, he's Kosuke Fukudomi in center, shading one step to the left. Jimbo, being a left-hander, knows that this probably means he's getting a fastball outside. The scouting report on him was to throw him just that. The old man can't hit fastballs anymore. Kosuke moves closer to left field because if Jim makes contact, he's probably going to go to the opposite field. The next pitch ended up in the left field stands. One step, one wipe of the brow from a pitcher, a shrug from a batter, etc., etc., etc. Steve Stone, now that I'm on Twitter, went on Twitter. This is right after his comments that he loved the new rules. Without a bit of sarcasm, there didn't need to be any sarcasm. He took to Twitter and said this: the simplicity of baseball is surpassed by a complexity that takes even the most astute of us quite a while to master. The fact that we never really stop learning draws us to the beauty of the ballpark. Look beyond the surface, and you'll love the game as I have for a lifetime. Look below the surface. Don't just chase highlights and action. You will find beauty and mystery in this great game, and you will get your gift basket without getting fucked. That's Fitzgibberish. I love the music.
It's called daydreaming. I figure that's what you're doing when you're writing that segment.
Yes, pretty much all week. Daydreaming. Thoughts, comments.
Well, I've never
questions?
wanted to punch Theo Epstein in the throat more than I do after listening. Because I love Theo Epstein. He's a great mind. He's a baseball guy. He brought the Cubs a World Series. Like if I ever saw the guy in a bar, I'd buy him a beer. But after listening to him say that, I'd buy him a beer, and then I would probably hit him over the head with the bottle. Because that is like these guys now that are taking over and changing the rules to appease the casual fan, to appease the guys who will watch, 6 to 8 games a year fully, and or throw it on as background noise and what, like that is what's wrong. Like I don't have a problem with the pitch clock. I really don't.
No, I actually don't. But you don't even need a clock. You can just tell a guy like, 30 seconds. I'm going to have a clock in my head, and I'll tell you, it'll be a balk. I guess you could have the clock just for the pitcher, but like,
I think you have to extend the time, but you can't have like these pickoff rules. The reliever having to face 3 hitters after he comes into a game. Like that stuff is it drives me nuts because we're changing the game and we're taking out all of the chess match that made baseball such a beautiful game. Yeah. For what? For a half an hour? Tell me right now. I want anybody who is a fan of these rules, anybody who is listening to this, email me. You can PM me.
At Real Rye Fits on Twitter.
At Real Rye Fits on Twitter. You could do at manhour_BC. You can get me on Twitter as well.
There you go. Nice.
You can just. I want to know what is it about a game that the last half hour was driving you so nuts, because that's what they're saving is a half hour. So, what are you really saving by adding all of these rules in that are saving so much time and going to bring in so many more viewers in a sport that is still selling out stadiums?
Yeah.
That is still out. Like we said it last week, the All-Star game drew in 3 more million fans than the NBA All-Star game. 3 more million viewers than the NBA All-Star game. Drew in more viewers than the Pro Bowl, which, whatever. The Pro Bowl is the Pro Bowl. But this game is still thriving. You are still a multi-billion-dollar a year league. You make more money a year than the NFL does.
Yep.
What are we trying to save?
Let's say, remember if you can remember this far back when you first started dating
Mhm.
or striving to get a woman.
Yep.
And you probably failed because I know I did. And because you wanted that. You wanted her so much. Oh, I love you. Oh, this, that. Oh, calling,
Yeah.
calling them maybe too many times, maybe sending them letters too many times.
Yeah.
And then now that we're older, if we were in that same body, if you put me in that same body, I don't care about my looks. I would slay because it's about the quality.
Yeah.
It's about how about make yourself a fucking quality person
We
first.
just finished off the episode where we're both gonna end up getting divorced because of the things we've said on the show.
I'm just saying, but you would slay. I'm just saying, how about make a quality product?
Yes.
How about stop
No,
blacking out your games? But instead we have this. We have
Yeah.
what's going on now with Theo Epstein and the
Action overall.
And-
Overall, in their desire for faster pace of play, for more athleticism on display in the field and
Yeah.
on the bases, for more balls in play, action overall, and for more action overall.
and that's what he wants to do. He wants to put your balls in play. He's like romancing the fans. We don't over romancing the fans.
So you want to put more balls in play? Stop teaching launch angle. Teach
He's
hitters
the
how to
launch-
hit.
he's
Like
the launch angle.
we watched a game this spring earlier where they brought their left fielder into play short right field, so left field was open, and the guy struck out. Like it is beyond comprehension to me.
Through a
that a
no-hitter.
major league hitter can't go to freaking opposite field when there is no fielder there. What's the old Yogi Berra adage? Hit it where they ain't.
Yep.
Like it is beyond comprehension to me that baseball doesn't understand that their failures and their inability to attract younger fans comes from their inability to market the damn game.
Yeah. How long did it take for them to start putting highlights on social media?
Yes.
NBA was way ahead of them. Way ahead of them.
Dude,
Like,
we
way
still don't
ahead.
have. Why is Shohei Ohtani not in commercials? Why is
baseball not in the
Mike
fucking
Trout?
Olympics? Why are we doing
Yeah.
the World Baseball Classic? I mean, really?
Yeah, there are so many things that Major League Baseball does poorly, but the game itself did not need to change to attract younger fans. The game needs to evolve to attract younger fans. And by evolving, I mean they need to market. They need to get into social media. They need to be on TikTok. They need to be on Snapchat. They need to be on all these platforms that the younger viewers would be attracted to. It has nothing to do. Look, my daughter will go to a game with me. She loves going to the Cubs games. She loves going to the Sox games. We'll go to Blackhawks games all the time. She loves going to these games. Never once has she ever said to me after a game, "Why did that take so long?"
No.
Why did that take so long? But you know what she does notice? She notices the pictures on the screens and what guys she thinks are the hottest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so now she starts, if she loves Chris Bryant. So now she's seeing Chris Bryant more in commercials. She's going to connect with him more.
Yeah.
Like, that is how you get in with the younger generation, is you come to them, right? Like, I thought it was the greatest thing when I saw my daughter eat, and even though I hate how much she might be on TikTok or Snapchat or all those things on social media, but they did a homework assignment where they had to do it through Snapchat. Or TikTok it was, actually. Like, they had to use TikTok, but that is a great idea, right? Because now these kids are integrating something for history, something that they probably would have read in a book and not even understood after they read it because they wouldn't have cared. But now you put it on a TikTok form. Now they got to create TikToks for them. And now you can actually have a conversation with them because they remember what was in the damn TikTok.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's a great tool.
I wish they would use
and there's no
YouTube
reason
instead
why.
of TikTok,
Why is it that Marist High School can think of this, but the brainiacs up in Major League Baseball can't think of this?
Justin Verlander, the Aaron Rodgers of baseball, did rightly say it's not on the players to market the game. It's on Major League Baseball to market the damn game. I bet Justin Fields to win MVP before betting Time Machine Ryan slaying the day.
That is a great comment.
How
Doubting
You love it.
Doubting
I don't like that
Thomas.
comment. That's a terrible comment.
Do you know? Doubting Thomas says, "I'd bet Justin Fields to win MVP before betting Time Machine Ryan slaying the dating scene." That isn't great. I don't know who Doubting. Do you know who Doubting Thomas is?
Yes, I do, but
Okay.
I'm not telling you.
Oh boy,
we're gonna have him on the show probably. For sure.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's the comment of the day. That's the comment of the day.
Now, are you over the bet that you lost? Now you're over the bet you lost, probably.
I'm
Well, you didn't really lose, but
yeah, I
lose
didn't
money.
lose. I still won. I'm just not over the fact that I should have just let it ride.
Doubting
I really should.
Thomas was telling me to go to the casino to bet on Jones last night.
See,
I didn't go.
I bet on him.
Go.
I bet on him. I had every pick right, and then right before Jones walked into the ring, I cashed out the damn parlay. I had Grasso winning. I had everything. I had the whole parlay. And instead of winning $965, I cashed out at $525 on a $50 bet. So I still won. I should have let it ride. It was a bad call. It was a bad call. And my wife told me not to do it, and I didn't listen to her. That goes to show.
That's where we should wrap it up.
Guys out there listening,
listen to Michelle more.
Listen to your wives more. Dude, we've got some.
Hopefully our wives aren't listening to us or the show.
We've both got some sucking up to do. Actually, my wife is sitting behind the camera, so she's been listening. So we both got some sucking up to do. I'm gonna go buy some flowers and some dinner.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go buy some furniture.
You're gonna go buy some furniture,
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go head up and play some bags. Are you gonna show up today or what?
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think
All
I'm gonna have the time. I got my brother coming over to fix a light and all that. So
well, maybe we can get you out there on Thursday. We gotta get you back out here.
This Thursday, yeah.
Yep. All right, man.
We'll
talk to you. We're gonna end it there. Doubting Thomas, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. Johnny Torres was here. Tom Gustafson was here. Michelle was in the chat. Unfortunately, I said some things that I shouldn't have said. You said some things you shouldn't have said. And Slade, you're going back in a time machine so you can slay on the dating machine. Oh my word. All right, we're gonna end it there. Man of our nation, rise up.